were your experiences then?
Let me first tell you how I came to join the Attorney General's office. I was practicing as an associate with Achur Kapila, a very well-known criminal lawyer,
Yes.
who had defended Jomo Kenyatta. I had done a few cases with him, and he was quite impressed with my handling of cases, and he had taken me on as an associate in his firm. Then there was a matter in which I defended an Indian, a Patel, who was charged with accountancy offences, fraud, embezzlement, etc. And without asking me, he had levied a very heavy fee on him. So when I looked at the file and I told him, I said, look, Mr. Kapila, it doesn't look to me that there is a defense and we have charged so much money to the client. He said, you just go to court. You see, it's not for you to argue. Just go and defend, do your best. I went, we eventually pleaded guilty, and he was sentenced to 8 years imprisonment or something. The following day, his wife and children came up to the office and said that they had no one else to live with because the husband had gone to jail. And could we give her some money so that she could travel to India by the cheapest possible means, which was by boat or deck class, what used to be called.
Right.
So I went to Kapila and asked him, and I said, look, this is it. We have charged them a lot of money. He didn't benefit. He's gone into jail for 8 years. So let's at least help this lady with the fare that she's asking for. And Kapila's answer to me was, we are not a charity. Answer is no. So I was taken completely aback. I went and I told them, I said, look, I'm sorry, but the firm is not able to assist you.
Right.
But I have some money in my pocket, which I took out and I gave it to her. And I said, I hope this helps you to some extent, and I'm so sorry I can't help you further. So in disgust, I left the chamber.
Right.
And I walked up to the Charter Hall, where the lawyers used to meet for coffee. There I found John Hobbs, who used to be the DPP at the time, with James Karugu, who was the senior state counsel in their office.
Yeah.
And so we had coffee together. Hobbs looked at me and said, Sharad, is something wrong? You don't look all right to me. So I related the story to him. And he said, what are you going to be doing next? So I said, frankly, John, I don't know. This has just happened. I've just walked out. I have to think. So he said, can we meet here tomorrow for coffee?
Right.
So the following day we met for coffee with him and Karugu. And he told me, he said, look, the state, Kenyatta, the President Kenyatta, was very keen to Africanize the position of DPP. And they have Karugu in mind, but Karugu does not have enough experience.
Right.
So what Njonjo has told me, that if you can get Rao as your assistant, as his assistant,
right,
then it could make up for his loss of experience, lack of experience. So on that basis, I joined the chambers.
I see.
All right? And I said, I will not come as a state counsel, and I will not apply for the job. You got to invite me, and you got to create a position for me. So a position was created for the first time of assistant DPP, and that's how I joined the chambers.
And your experiences with Charles Njonjo during your tenure?
And no, Charles Njonjo was not popular with very many people, but I had great respect for him. Because one, he was extremely good as far as administration was concerned.
Right.
Very punctual, very strict about protocol, very strict about ethics. And also he had helped quite a few people. Anyone who was in problem, I mean, not only for cases, but a woman would come and say, my children are held up because they don't have school fees. He would call me in and he says, Rao, can you arrange for someone to pay their school fees? If someone was in hospital and was not being released because he had not paid the hospital fees, I would be asked to collect some money and get him released. So that kind of thing he used to do a lot. Eventually we had even started a heart foundation to assist children who could not afford. We were getting people from doctors from overseas who operated on them. So that's how I started in those chambers. And when I started, of course, President Kenyatta was president. And at that time, I was assistant DPP. And when Moi became president is when I was appointed the DPP.
Right.